Sterven! Skillgelassene! Stegen! Sterven!
Remember to subscribe and like the video, you heathens. Alright, so how's everyone's day going? So this is the review for the Chinese Hollywood film that just came out. It is a Chinese Hollywood film, so it could have just came out to America now and came out last year. So I don't know, I didn't check. But this is called Skyfire. And it's definitely got some a bunch of bad reviews for it. So I just looked at to see if it was interesting worth to watch, because some videos that I do that check the reviews is normally because I'm not 100% sure. I could go either way, so I need a deciding factor. So, I thought, I'll give it a try. Because a lot of these movies can be stinkers, or they can just be enjoyable. It's rarely, in my opinion, to find one of these films to be really, really great. I'm sure there's people who are even more deep into these Chinese films that would disagree. But this stars Jason Isaacs and Hannah Quinn. It's not our full last name, but I summarized her last name because the first part says Quinn. So the plot of this is pretty much it's what I got from the trailer from this, and this is kind of sort of like what I thought it was from the trailer, and then what it reminds me of is between Dante's Peak and Jurassic World. So the story of this is a young scientist creates a way to predict volcanoes erupting warnings, and she returns to this island. Her mom tragically died when she was a kid, and now works for the rich guy who is played by Jason Isaac, I think. Yeah, works as a scientist, private scientist for the rich guy who owns this amusement park on this island. Now it turns out it explodes, and so there's definitely a lot of interesting, I guess you'd say, problems with this movie. Obviously, the concept of the movie is a bit funny, and that's being nice. I guess you'd say stupid, but in my opinion, I think it's more entertaining, something new, something out of the ordinary, not in the ordinary. I will first say that the CGI, for the most part, is pretty good. The quality of it definitely reminds me of, from the shooting to the atmosphere to the tint of the film, reminds me of Jurassic World. Not specifically the second Jurassic World, but Jurassic World. I definitely did think it was good. That stuff was good for the most part. Now, I think what it comes down to is the story, and I'll get to that right now. So the first part is we get the opening scene of her mother dying. So the opening scene of the volcano explodes, and everything is just being destroyed by this wave of sulfur and ash. And there could be some other stuff in there too. I'm not really knowledgeable of that volcano, but that's what I figured. So the mother is an archaeologist, and she's trying to long for father, and so she runs with her daughter, who is at like 7 or something at this age, or 8. I would even say 10 maybe. And so, everyone's running, the whole thing's coming form, this wave of sulfur and ash. So the first ridiculous part in here is definitely the fact that, so you got these, I don't know what you would call them, because they're not asteroids because they're not from space, but they come down, that are on fire, they're balls of fire. And so one hits right next to her, or even her. I think it mostly hit her. She flew and hit the ground, and she was out. So you immediately thought she was dead. So then it cuts that scene off, and then it goes to the dad, and he's looking for his daughter and the kids. The daughter drives by and says, "Mom's that way." So when they do that, they look down the road, and here comes all the ash, and then all of a sudden, she's just all right. She's just running the whole time towards the father. Now, I that was kind of just stupid and unlogical. But and again, as I always say, I know it's a film, but there's a point where it just becomes unacceptable. But then another one hits the Jeep with the father in it, flips it, and I knew he was going to be alive, and I was going to say it was stupid he would be alive if he died from that. However, so he's there in that truck on the side, passed out, and she just standing there, and so the whole thing just comes forward, and then it ends the screen. So obviously it came forward, all that layers of ash and hot, very like burning skin hot, melting sulfur and heat and fire, right? So I live in Washington, and so in the 80s we had one of what's considered in the past 100 years, I think like 100 years or so, the worst volcano natural disaster. Mount St. Helens, you may have heard of it. You need to look it up if you have not. It's the video on it is short documentary on it. It's pretty crazy. I checked it out last year after so many years of seeing it. And so one of the parts is in there is, so all of that, it was completely like that, and so there was this guy, and I forgot what he was a scientist or a reporter or something. After the math, they found him and they dug up his car, and he was in there and he was burnt to death. And he would have suffocated before he burnt to death, so thank God. But still, it's like, that's horrible way to die. But he was buried under it. So there was literally no way for the dad in this to survive at all. But he did. Oh, and now on top of that, all he got is burns on his hands, like here and here and here. It's like not unrealistic. So here's the other interesting part of this is, it's bad enough for this rich dumbass to be having a park on a volcano, which his scientists said, and everyone says it would be dormant for a long time. Okay. I mean, there's people that live in a radius of, I don't know anymore. I'm pretty sure there is, but, well, I'm not pretty sure, but, of Mount St. Helens. Well, Mount St. Helens is kind of dead, but, you never know. So, but of volcanoes like in Hawaii and stuff. So, I can deal with that. But, it was dumb enough to do that. But the fact that he's drilling into the volcano, building all these resorts and stuff. I mean, you have to be the most dumbest moron on earth if you think drilling into a volcano is a good idea. Of course it's going to erupt. You're drilling into a freaking volcano. And on top of that, the guy, the daughter, who's a scientist again, has been warned not to drill into the volcano. You would think someone would listen to a scientist, but, in America you would see, and parts of Europe. You know, I'm not going to get into the whole mask thing and everything. It's like, but you get the point. But the fact he's drilling is, oh my God, that has to be one of the stupidest things ever done. And we have fracking, who in I don't know what state, like Ohio or something, where tremors have been a huge thing for fault lines and stuff because they're fracking in the ground. So, and that's not like putting anything political. I'm just putting that out there. That's a perfect example of why you shouldn't be certain things you shouldn't be doing. You know, for much, and excuse my French, but fucking with nature. You know, it's just like it's gonna be disastrous. So, and it's a freaking volcano. Calm down. But you know, I can't get into this whole video, this whole movie of the endless amount of problems in here. Now, the one thing that actually shocked me was they literally have this big round platform that descends into the volcano itself, the actual hole above the lava. And of course, you already knew that that's where but when they go into there, that's when the volcano is going to hit. And it gets this really ridiculous nonstop. These heat of blasts coming from just random places, killing people, throwing them. It's just ridiculous. A lot of the deaths are ridiculous. It was a ridiculous movie. I mean, it was somewhat enjoyable, but it was too much of a ridiculous movie, and you know, I powered through it, but it wasn't. Yeah. So despite that, I did enjoy it somewhat, and it was a kind of a dumb movie, and this is what I would rate it, unfortunately. So let me know in the comments if you agree with me. Have you seen this? Are you into these type of films? Are you, you know, do you disagree with me? Do me a favor, hit that bell icon, and thanks for all the support you guys have been giving me. It means a lot. I'm just doing this for fun, so it's really fun for me. It can be stressful, you know. It's technically it's actually literally a job, so you know. But yeah, I love you all. Please stay safe. COVID's still a thing, obviously. Gonna be for a while. So hang in there. Skull. Thank you for watching, and hey, please leave a like.